students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I'm broadcasting to you from beautiful Central Europe. I hope everybody is continuing to have a great Saturday. Today, we are looking at IELTS Writing Task 2, and as usual, our materials do come from our websites. Join us at aehelp.com for the academic IELTS, and for the general version of the exam, check us out at gieltshelp.com on both of those websites. We have lots of fantastic materials for you. They look like this. This is the academic with the blue background. Click that red button to join. And for the general, let's say green background, click that red button to join there. I also see we have a new member, Sarabjit Singh. Sarabjit, welcome to our membership. Make sure to send me an email so I can hook you up with our perks, our 6 practice exams. You can participate in members chat classes, and we'll give you access to our video archives. So for sending emails, students, you can contact me at my email address, adrian@aehelp.com. That's my name, Adrian, at aehelp.com. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, just send me an email there. All right. Hello, students. Hi, Arshdeep. Hi, Adam. Hi, Sammy. Hi, Begzad and Kesey. Good to see so many of you in class. Okay, students, we have our schedule for the next week of live IELTS classes up on our community board on the channel. The live classes are at this time and earlier for members. Tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, there is no class. On Wednesday, I'm back with speaking part 1 that is for everybody, so keep that in mind. And then on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, there are 2 classes each day. First class is members chat, and everybody can watch that, and then an everybody chat class afterwards. All right. So let's take a look at the question, the task 2 question for today. IELTS writing task 2. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Make sure to practice that 40-minute time limit at home. Hi, Rekha. Missed you in the members chat class. Glad to have you now. The internet collects a great amount of information about individuals, and privacy is becoming a thing of the past. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this development. It's kind of a provocative and interesting question, and it's definitely a question that you might see somewhere in an IELTS exam. It's a hot topic, and the exam likes to compose such questions that are kind of hot topics of today's international community. That's because they feel that most people should be able to talk about this, so should be able to discuss this. So, all right, let's do this. So let's write a Band 9 nice high caliber essay for this question. Lamvikas, I'm happy that you're sharing your IELTS results. I'm very happy that you got 6.5s. That's great. Good for you. Fantastic. Congratulations. First step, students, is look at the question. Make sure you understand what it is asking, what you need to do. Okay? So let's do that. Let's paraphrase this. That's the best way to make sure that we know what's going on. Okay? So state the question in your own words. Use synonyms, use antonym negatives, descriptions, phrases. State it in your own words. This is not the essay yet. This is just planning, making sure you understand. I'm going to do the same. So another way to say the internet, the World Wide Web. How do I know that? That's what WWW stands for, right? So the World Wide Web gathers. Gather, another way to say collect. Gathers a lot. I'm just going step by step, keeping it fairly simple. Okay, let me darken this up for us a little bit. You can see that better. Okay, how about that? All right. Kesra, I love how you already have yours ready. Fantastic. Okay, so the World Wide Web gathers a lot of data. Data is another way to say information, right? So the World Wide Web gathers a lot of data about people instead of individuals. And secrecy. Secrecy is a good way to say privacy, right? When we're being private, we're being secret, we're keeping information to ourselves. So secrecy is becoming rare, right? Okay, and then discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this development. So write, because you're writing at the end of the day, write about the pros and cons of this phenomenon. Okay? This development, a development is a type of phenomenon. It's an occurrence. So that's what we're going to write about. All right, let's see what some of you did. So Kasra Reza says, the internet gathers a great deal of information about people. Thus, there is no longer such a thing as privacy. Discuss the merits and demerits of this fairly new phenomenon. Hey, Kesra, I didn't see that, but I'm happy that you concur that phenomenon is a good synonym for development. I agree with you, it is. All right, Paula says online websites get a lot of personal details and privacy is compromised. Paula, I wish it could be, but it's a fact. It's not a modal there. It's definitely the reality. So, but it's a good start, Paula. So online websites get a lot of personal details about people and privacy is compromised. Describe the positive and negative aspects or points of this. Good, Paula. Good job. Zoya Zahur says the internet gathers a lot of knowledge and information about people in secrecy, and secrecy is rare. Describe the merits and demerits. Yeah, notice, students, that a lot of you use the word merit, demerit. That should tell you that the IELTS examiners are not too impressed by those words because they see them too often. Okay, so make sure to use your own original vocabulary. All right, some other great paraphrasings coming up. I think we're all on the same page. That's fantastic. Hopefully we all understand what this question is actually asking us now. What is the topic of this question? So what are we talking about here, really? What are we discussing? So what are we really writing about in this essay? Begzad says personal information, a little bit more. It's not data theft, Farhan. Data theft is different. We're not talking, they're not stealing. Most of us click I agree when the phone or the computer is asking us, this app requires access to your photos, your gallery, your location. Do you agree? I agree. It's not theft. You just agreed. Okay. So it's not data theft, Farhan. Careful not to go off topic. Begzad says maybe privacy. Kisi agrees. A lot of agreement among our members there, which is fantastic. Members, that's good. Okay, I like how you have a lot of consensus there. It's individual or people's privacy. Privacy, there we go. Yeah, that's the topic. What is privacy? So what are we talking about when we talk about people's privacy? Okay, keep it simple. So what is it? What is privacy? Keeping information in one's own control. Hidden from others. Okay, I think most of you can come up with that clever answer. The following answer, which is very important to ask for a good essay here, is why? Why do people like to keep information private? Why? So it's personal information or private information. Personal information, Ahmad Faraz is also correct. Dean Paul Sueto, sorry if I didn't pronounce that right, Dean. Yeah, it could be sensitive. What do we mean by that? So what do we mean when it's sensitive? So if it can be misused, Farhan, yes, absolutely. So it could be embarrassing. It could be used for crime. Yeah, so it could be dangerous, right? Instead of criminal activity, let's say dangerous if it's revealed. So it's embarrassing, it's sensitive, it's dangerous. I think what a lot of you are thinking, and it's quite amazing that none of you have used this word yet, but if I asked the owners of these social media websites and so on, why are they gathering personal information from people? What do you think they would say? So yeah, harassment, blackmail, and all that jazz. But what do you think if I asked the CEO of Facebook, Zuckerberg, or if I asked some other big shots in these companies of why they are getting people's personal information? What do you think would be the number one answer? And Malhar Patel, Lan Thiu is probably the closest. Money, value. Your personal information is valuable. If I know where you are, if I know what you like, I can sell you something. I can sell you the hamburger that you've been dying to taste, which is just half a block from where you're standing. So people's privacy is valuable. Knowledge and information are power. It has value, okay? Your personal information, your privacy has great value. Sure. How? Well, we just talked about it. So it can be used for business, right? It can be used for crime. So all of that, right? It can be used to blackmail, as you said. Many of you said, sure. Okay, what's the controlling idea? So we're thinking quickly. We're using our critical thought processes, and we're coming up with some good ideas for our essay. So already our head's spinning. We're doing this fast, students. So in the real IELTS, we're doing this lightning fast. We're going a mile a minute. We're doing the planning in just 3 minutes, 4 minutes. What is the controlling idea? According to this question, again, students, the question is in the stream description, so you can see it there. I'll show it to you again to help you. The internet collects a great deal of information about individuals, and privacy is becoming a thing of the past. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this development. What is the, Marasa, of course. A student who practices as much as Marasa does, boy, let me tell you, girls and guys, Marasa practices a lot. If everybody does what she did, everybody would get a band 7. Marasa writes at least a task 1, task 2 essay every day, at least one, sometimes more. Good for you, Marasa. Hats off. I have to say that because I can see that you put so much effort into your studying. So Marasa, yes, controlling idea is the benefits and the negatives, the deficits, right? So what are the benefits? So what are the advantages of gathering people's private information by these web portals or these websites like Google and Facebook and all of that? What's actually good about that? What's positive? Is there a positive? There must be. Come on, there's good and bad to almost everything. Axay says to make money. I don't know. Axay, making money, that's not really a goal. Money is just a tool in life. So making money, yes, okay. People can use that money to live or purchase goods that they need or services, sure. But there's probably some other advantages. And I'm sure many of you, when you visualize, so when you stop and think and visualize, you can think about it. Okay. Oman Sharapov says, running ads related to your personal interests. Oman, very clever. Absolutely, right? So what are the advantages? Making money, but even more is, and customizing the experience of users to their interests and needs, right? So their wants and needs. Absolutely. I don't know how many of you this has happened to, but Google or Netflix, for example, is a good one. Netflix will say, hey, there's a new movie that we just made, and we think you're going to like this based on the personal information that we collected from you. So, and you know what? I don't know how many of you use Netflix, but for me, it's a 19 out of 20 that Netflix is right. And every time they show me a new series or a new movie that they think I might like, I'm like, yeah, I loved it. So absolutely, right? Custom tailor making. Why? So why is this a benefit? Why is that a benefit? So why is it a benefit? This is the why question is usually the most important question, and it's the question that many students miss or misunderstand. Why is it an advantage to customize the experience of users with their private information? Lanthiu, that's a clever answer. Okay. Yeah, saves a lot of time and effort. Okay, Lanthiu, brilliant. You got it fast, right? Begzod, I see that you're just before Lanthiu there too. Right, great. So saves us a lot of time and effort. So the advantage is customizing the experience of the user to their interests and needs. Why is that an advantage? Because it saves a lot of time and effort for the people. You don't have to go and search for what you need. It's just there in front of you, right? How? Well, that's an easy one. The internet presents products and or suggests products, we can say. Products and services in real time on our computers, phones, right? I really wish people would just start calling smartphones microcomputers or something, mini comms, because they're really just computers. You can make a phone call off your laptop as well if you got a mic and a set of speakers, and phones aren't really phones now. We're just got used to saying that. But anyway, that's me rambling. So the internet suggests products and services in real time to our computers or phones. That's how it does it, sure. Okay, through advertising, Marasa, that works as well. All right. So let's jump to the other side of the argument. What are the disadvantages? Or we only have 250 words. Let's not say or, let's just keep it to one. What is a major disadvantage of losing private information? What is it? So what's the biggest disadvantage, arguably? So what would most people say that, ooh, that's... Yosef says, jeopardize you to a risky situation. Yosef, it's a bit of an awkward way to express it, but I get what you're trying to say. Farhan says misuse, but what do you mean misuse? Tina says it can jeopardize our freedom, right? Okay, so it can be damaging, it can be hurtful, right? Why? Again, practice keeping your thoughts really simple, students. So why can it be damaging, or why can it be hurtful? It is used for leverage, right? Everybody knows what the word leverage means. Leverage is a lever, right? Leverage. Leverage is when you take a position of advantage through the use of a tool or some information. And leverage can be, as some of you said, blackmail. Okay. How? Steal money, reveal criminal or embarrassing information, and so on, right? So that's how. Cyberbullying, sure, you take a picture of somebody doing something embarrassing and you use it for cyberbullying. Murasa, cyberbullying is a brilliant example. Okay, so we'll put that in there. All right. Amon, blackmailing. Finally, it came up. That's how we do it. Okay, great. So again, all of this is in 5 minutes. So all of your thinking, planning, and thesis should take no more than 5 minutes. Okay. If you can't do it that fast, practice. Okay. You need 35 minutes to write the essay. So if you have good planning, if you have good strategy, you'll be fine. 30 minutes, 35 minutes is lots. Just make sure you've planned it out well. Students, let's write the thesis. Okay. Write your thesis statements. Write your thesis statements. I'm going to do the same. Notice that here, the question is not asking for our position. It's just asking us to write about the advantages and disadvantages. All right? So I'm writing mine. I'm being a little bit silent so you can hear yourself think. Write your thesis. It's the most important sentence of your essay. All right. There's my thesis statement waiting on yours. Give you a couple more seconds to think. All right, here's mine. It has become very clear that the advantage of using people's private information gathered online is customized experience, while the disadvantage is personal harm. Okay. Art Lover is asking, what is the essay about? Art Lover, the question is in the stream description. But again, for those of you who are just joining on while everybody's writing their thesis statements, here's the question. the internet collects a great amount of information about individuals, and privacy is becoming a thing of the past. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this development. Okay, that is the question. We've gone through our planning and thinking, critical thinking phase. Now we're composing our thesis to get ready for the essay. It has become very clear that the advantage of using people's private information gathered online is customized experience, while the disadvantage is personal harm. That is a leading into a Band 9 essay. Okay, that's a very high level thesis. While some of you are writing your thesis statements, I can see some of you doing that now. Just a quick point, I got an email the other day and a student said, well, I read online, or sorry, as the student actually said, my teacher said I shouldn't write my points in my thesis, so I should just write that I will discuss in this essay the advantages and disadvantages, because if I write my points, then the reader will not be interested to learn more. That's not true. That's ridiculous, girls and guys. Direct thesis is almost always better than an indirect thesis. This should, in fact, make your reader interested about what you will say on these points, okay? So a direct thesis is always better than indirect. A thesis statement like this essay will discuss the advantages and disadvantages. It's not a good thesis. It's already in the question. You're just wasting the examiner's time and the space on the paper. We know that's what you're writing about because that's the question the exam is asking you. All right, let me just review a couple thesis statements. Anil Nupain says, in this modern world, there are a large number of people who use the internet, and it has both advantages and disadvantages. Anil, that's very general, okay? Anil, you're not really answering the question. The question's asking you about privacy, loss of privacy through the internet, not about the advantages and disadvantages to the user. It's too general. That would be a much longer essay than what you have here with the 250 words. Farhan says, while data collection by the internet can be beneficial for customized marketing, there are risks for the misuse of this data which cause personal harm. Farhan, notice how I corrected in real time what you wrote. Don't go into too much detail in your thesis, okay? Syed says, although gathering private data of individuals helps them stay organized, it can also create vulnerability. Syed, I'm correcting you again there real time. Notice the minute marker. It's 28 minutes, 10 seconds. You have to make some corrections there, okay? Kisi, the information gathered online brings benefits to some companies to customize services, but it also could be used to harm people. Kisi, good. Again, don't overcomplicate, okay? The information gathered online brings benefits to individuals to customize service. Yeah, Kisi, that's, yeah, so just be careful. Take note of my first correction, okay? All right, that's good. Now, let's continue by writing the introductory paragraph. So introduction. Introductions should start with the hook. I know many of you have heard that the hook is not all that important on the IELTS exam, but it is. The hook is important because it identifies your topic, it sets your mind, the writer's mind, and it catches the reader's attention. And it should just be something simple, a simple worldly fact, okay? Simple worldly fact. You have to be able to say something simple about the topic that everybody will say, oh, yeah, okay, that's interesting. All right, so let's write a hook, ladies and gents. Let's write a hook about privacy and the internet, something that's simple, okay? So I'm going to do that. I'll write the hook, and then you write the hook, okay? All right. So I decided to do something a little bit fancy with my hook here. Definitely into your band 9 category. Every day. Let me fix that real quick. Every day as one word, referring to each and every day. Every day, people who surf online relinquish their personal information by clicking the I agree button. All right. Honestly, students, if you are reading an article and you read this sentence, are you interested to read more? This is a question. So if I wrote you a magazine article and I started the magazine article with this sentence, every day, people who surf online relinquish means give away freely. People who surf online relinquish their personal information by clicking the I agree button. Honestly, will you read more? Will you be like, oh, I'm kind of interested in what's coming next. I want to read the next sentence. Yes or no? Thanks, Begzod. I appreciate that you enjoy the writing. Yeah, good. So that's the hook. That's what it should do for you. Okay? Shivani, again, relinquish means to release freely, to let go freely. Kruthguk says, nah, I'm not going to read anymore. I'm not interested. Fair enough, right? Your goal is to catch maybe 9 of 10 of your readers, right? So if I'm getting 8 or 9 yeses and a couple of no's, then my hook has reached its goal. That's how you can test the quality of your hook, is just ask your friends, your dad, mom, hey, mom, dad, read this sentence. Do you want to read more? Honestly, not just because you're my mom and dad or your husband or wife, but do you really want to read more? And if they're like, yeah, I'll read more, then it's good. Okay? That's how you can test the quality of your hook. All right? All right, so that's your hook. You can make it simpler than that. That's just kind of showing you, where you can take the hook. After that, write the background. Again, remember, students, my goal here is to show you a band 9 example working through it in real time. Okay, so then we give the background. Okay, so background is the definition of our key terms and the importance of the question. Okay, so why are we talking about this question and what are we talking about exactly? Okay, when we talk about personal information, what are we talking about? We're talking about pictures. We're talking about birth dates. We're talking about locations where we are, right? So we want to tell our reader that right away in the background. So, over the past several decades, various types of software, like social media sites, have gathered billions, trillions of data on people's locations, identities, likes, and dislikes. Right? That's what we're talking about. So in the background, you show your reader that, hey, I know what we're talking about. I know what we mean when we're discussing private information, okay? I know that we're not just talking about me picking my nose last week, okay? We're talking about much more. We're talking about trillions of pieces of data that tells about a person's identity, location, likes, and dislikes, okay? That's what we're talking about. So now your reader goes, okay, I got you. All right. These data are used to control society. Okay, boom. Hey, will that make it clear why we're talking about this? So again, ask yourself, why are we talking about data privacy and all of that? So what's the goal behind it? Well, To state that in very general terms, it's because these data, remember data is plural, datum is singular, okay, are used to control society. At the end of the day, that's really what's happening, is we're controlling society through the data, okay? All right. I'm going to read a couple people's comments here. Evidently, most of the people use internet daily for divergent purposes. However, some of them might reveal their personal information, such as location, birthday, pictures, and more. In the jungle, nice writing. Okay, it's good composition. It's nice background. Make sure you can write quickly. You don't need all of that in the jungle for your 250-word essay. You could say many people reveal their personal information, such as locations, birthdays, pictures, and more when they use the internet. So you could simplify that depending on how fast you write. Okay, in the jungle? Love that handle, by the way. In the jungle. All right. Begzod says, these days when individuals want to create new accounts in social media sites like Facebook, they give permission to access personal information like locations, photos, and interests. Begzod, that's good. I would just give a little bit more info there, but it's a brilliant approach. Okay, it's a brilliant approach. Anonymous. I don't know how you got that big red dot there, but it certainly caught my attention. Every day, millions of people around the world share their personal information without knowing about it. That's your hook. Anonymous. It's a brilliant hook. It's a great hook. Thumbs up. Beautiful. I love it. Harish, good to see you. Missed you in the last members class. Data privacy has become a big issue since the dawn of the internet revolution. There is a great deal of data in the air today that tells personal information. Harish, it's a good start to the essay as well. Okay, good job, students. So far, doing fantastic. Really. I can see that a lot of you are watching these videos, learning from our websites maybe, learning from these lessons, and you're really starting to figure out how to effectively communicate your ideas in the written form, which is wonderful. It's beautiful. It's great to see. So here's my introduction. Again, an introduction is more than just a repeat of the question, okay? So it really should do more, and you definitely want to practice writing quality introduction, especially for university. So let's look at this introduction, and then we can write the body paragraphs and the conclusion. So every day, people who surf online relinquish their personal information by clicking the I agree button. Over the past several decades, various types of software like social media sites have gathered trillions of data on people's locations. Make corrections when you're at home. On people's locations, identities, likes, and dislikes. These data are used to control society. It has become very clear that the advantages of using people's private information gathered online is customized experiences, while the disadvantage is personal harm. Write that, like that, and you will be on your way to a Band 9 essay. Guarantee you, 100%. Okay? All right, so now we get into our body paragraph. Okay. Body 1, okay, starts with a topic sentence. Your topic sentence deals with your first thesis point. Sarah Zahid, good question. So Sarah just asked, why didn't I write I agree or I disagree? Because it's not asking me to. Notice the question, Sarah. It's a really good one, okay, and I wanted to remind students about this. So notice the original question. It says, discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this development. It doesn't say in the question anywhere, give your own opinion. It's just asking me to discuss the advantages or disadvantages. Murasa, Yes, one advantage and one disadvantage is enough as long as they are top choices. And here we absolutely have top choices. Okay. Within the advantage of customized experience, Marasa, there are more advantages. Within the disadvantages, within the disadvantage of harming people, Marasa, there's further disadvantages. So there is multiple advantages, disadvantages there. Okay. Begzod, you don't necessarily need to add your opinion in the thesis here. Hi, Jyoti. If it's not asking you, I don't recommend doing it. Okay? It's not asking you anywhere for your opinion here, so I don't recommend just throwing it in there anyway, especially because it's just 250 words. You can write 250 words about this without any personal opinion. All right? Okay, that's why I write the thesis before I write the introduction, Shivani. That's part of my planning. So Shivani is asking, that's why you wrote the thesis before the intro? Yes, so I'm very clear on what I need to write. Okay, hope that makes sense for everybody. Okay, the question always controls the way you answer. Okay, keep that in mind. It's a very important tip for IELTS, even more important for university. Okay, so the thesis comes at the end of my introduction here, Shivani, but my thesis exists before I create the introduction. Just like for a master's or a doctorate thesis, right? You come up with your thesis question before you write your introduction, your synopsis, and so on, right? It makes sense. It's logical. Okay, so the topic sentence deals with customized experience. Okay, so the topic sentence has to be an expansion of the concept of customized experience as a benefit. Okay, advantage of using private information gathered online is customized experience, while the disadvantage is personal harm. So first point is about customized experience. Okay, so knowing detailed information about individuals allows companies to tailor services and products to the needs and wants of each user. Boom, there you go. That's your topic sentence. So all I've done here is I've taken the first point of my thesis and I've expressed it in greater detail and more definition. Okay? All right. So again, knowing detailed information about individuals, comma, allows companies to tailor services and products to the needs and wants of each user. All right? Now comes my explanation. So now I've got to explain that to my reader. What do you mean? Oh, geez. I came from another planet. I'm an alien with little green things on my head. I get you, but I don't understand you. Can you give me some explanation on what you mean by that? Okay? And so we explain it. So while you're thinking about those explanations, I'll look at some of those topic sentences. All right. So now comes the explanation. Harish D says, even though there are some dark sides of online information, it would be completely preposterous not to recognize the benefits of customized experiences the internet offers us. Harish, it's not bad. It's a little bit repetitive of your introduction, your thesis, but it's not bad. You're going into a little bit more explanation or a little bit more definition for the topic. It's okay. Begzod says, the clear benefit of having personal data available to companies is that when people select their interests, it allows these companies to match products to people. Sorry, Begzod, you are saying what I'm saying just a little bit differently, so let me do that one more time. The clear benefit of having personalized data is that when people select their interests, it allows companies to match products to people. Begzod, I think your topic sentence is just as good as mine. Okay? You've written a beautiful topic sentence there, Begzod. And it doesn't need any correction from me. It stands its ground just as it is. It's beautiful. Okay. Kisi. Customized services are popular these days. Lots of companies have collected personal information online and analyze it. Therefore, individuals receive notifications and advertisement messages. Kisi, you're writing the explanation, which is fantastic. So you're staying on track and you're staying up to speed with me, which is fantastic. Tailor, I think somebody asked about that as well. There's a job called a tailor. The tailor is who makes clothing for people like suits, right? And when it's tailor-made, it means it's custom-made just to fit you. Okay, so that's tailoring. It's good vocabulary to learn if you don't know it. All right. Okay, so something similar to what Kisi just wrote. So many businesses gather information about people's preferences through accessing their photos and communication, which they can then use to suggest products or goods or merchandise, which that they assume or that they infer the person likes or prefers. Wants, okay? All right, let me read that, make sure it's still okay. Many businesses gather information about people's preferences through accessing their photos and communication, which they can then use to suggest merchandise that they infer the person wants or needs. All right, and then the example. So now include an example with that. So far, I've written this essay in third-person voice, so perhaps I want to continue in third-person voice and not switch to I, me, my, okay? But if I do, it's not the end of the world, okay? First-person voice in IELTS is acceptable, all right? It's acceptable. A lot of people think it's not, but it is. You don't have access to research during the exam. You can't use your phone or a computer. And the question does ask you, if I go back and show you the original question here, it does say, use examples and explanations from your own experience. So I can use, it's asking me, okay? If somebody in the IELTS said, oh, you shouldn't use I, your mark just went down, then I would say, well, why did you ask me? Why did you ask me to use something from my experience if you don't want me to use I or me or my, okay? Merchandise, Shivani, is goods or products. Okay, it's items you purchase or buy. It's merchandise. Just paraphrasing to show lexical resource, right? So again, knowing detailed information about individuals allows companies to tailor services and products to the needs and wants of each user. Many businesses gather information about people's preferences through accessing their photos and communication, which they can then use to suggest merchandise that they infer the person wants or needs. All right? For instance, billions or millions, let's say, of people were told that the season premiere of Game of Thrones is available on Monday since HBO collected this preference or this show's preference in the years leading up to its release. I had to. I'm sorry for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about or hate Game of Thrones, but it is probably the most popular fantasy TV show of all television history, and I had to throw a little bit in there. It came out last week. For instance, millions of people were told that the season premiere of Game of Thrones is available on Monday since HBO collected this show's preference in the years leading up to its release. In this way, fans were notified on time to enjoy the first episode. I hope some of you got that reference or know what I'm talking about there, but anyhow, so there are lots and lots and lots of examples that you can use for suggested advertising. I'm sure many of you are thinking about Amazon or about restaurants on Google Maps. So when you visualize this, it's such a part of everyday life now that I'm sure many of you can come up with examples. I just did this one for fun. All right. Yusuf says, my teacher uses Netflix, and because of that, he revealed information about his wants and needs and gets notifications about movies and TV shows. Last year, I created a new account on Netflix. Since then, I am getting more enjoyable videos based on personal information I provided. So finish that idea, Bagzod. Based on personal information I provided will reflect the nature of this question. Mariko says, a lot of businesses gather people's tastes and can then use them to provide information. Mariko, you need to rethink that. Okay, it's a little bit awkward, unclear what you're saying. I get what you want to say, but you need to rephrase it. Okay. Amina says, I haven't watched this series since it started, and I don't even have the curiosity to watch it now. Well, Amina, to each their own, different strokes for different folks. As they say, it does not matter. Just make sure to provide a good example. Lanthiu says, just last week I went online to buy a new pair of shoes, and the ads popped up every time I was surfing for the shoes that I prefer. Okay, Lanthiu, you're on the right track. Okay, you're definitely on the right track. And then we have a connecting and concluding sentence. So this has saved me, or this has saved many fans time and effort to search for the show. As such, giving up information for this purpose is a clear benefit. Okay, and then we move on to body paragraph 2, which is structured the same way. And then, of course, after body paragraph 2, we have the conclusion. Okay, so there is my introduction. There is my body paragraph 1. I have the right structure and some nice high-level writing. It's very clear. Why am I able to do it quickly and piece by piece? It's because I did the right planning at the beginning. So I understood the question and I planned my answers using critical thinking. Okay, that's what you need to do. All right. So, yes, Patricio, you've guessed it. That's for homework. So finish the essay. I'm going to get this essay up here today or tomorrow. I know I promised a few essays. I've gotten one up into our comments, our community board since then, so check that out. But I will get this essay and a couple more up into the community board so you can see the finished, polished essay for a Band 9 example. Again, students, make sure to check us out on our websites, aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com, for lots of really good help and assistance to get those higher IELTS band scores for writing, for speaking, and for all other sections as well. Okay? It's been a pleasure teaching all of you. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Take some time to rest and refresh, and then go full speed forward into bigger and better. Learn lots. Always remember, you have beautiful brains inside your beautiful skulls, and don't let anybody ever discourage you, because if you put your mind to it, you can do it. We believe in you. Just believe in yourself. Bye for now, students. See you next Wednesday for speaking part 1.